Okay, so we are going to take a look at a few things that we're gonna be doing in the class. The first thing is we have a video over in the core section on the microbit, and we're using the microbit controller to actually do some of our experimentation and writing programs. And the reason is because it's a nice little kit that already includes or has you can purchase a lot of additional sensors and things that go with it, so that you're not having to hardwire every single thing that we're doing. So it's a really quick and easy way to get into programming in Python and learning how to work with sensors to measure all types of different things. So if you want to go watch that video on what exactly we're talking about, then you can go do that. But the microbit is what we're going to be working with. The problem with the microbit, though, is that while we want to write Python code to do most of our experimentation, and we're working with Python on the Raspberry Pi computer, the microbit doesn't actually understand exactly what Python is. And so what you have to do is you have to convert the Python code into a hex code that the Python can then, or that the microbit can then use to tell it how it needs to operate. So in order to do that, it means we're going to have to go to the microbit.org website to be able to write our code. And so what happens is when you go to microbit.org and then click on Let's Code, then you're going to click on the Python editor. Now, just to mention, there are other editors that are here. You can do a graphical editor and use a couple other like Scratch and Swift Playgrounds. There's a few different ways to actually program this microbit. You may want to play around with those, but we're going to stick primarily to the Python editor, and the reason is that we're trying to select a single language that we can do a lot of different things with instead of drilling into one particular thing. So for example, if we go to Scratch, Scratch is a drag and drop kind of an environment, which is good for young kids, but eventually they're going to outgrow that and get bored. And so it's really, in my opinion, better to go ahead and have them typing into the program and doing everything than to have your mom and dad doing everything for you. So we're not going to use Scratch. Swift Playgrounds is more for Apple. So if you're not programming for Apple devices, learning the Swift programming language is going to be a bit much, and you're kind of limiting yourself on what you can do. So the Python is the best all-around programming language, so we're going to stick to it. So we're going to click on Python editor, but you'll notice in the earlier video we were covering this guy in the Python, the idle. The thing is we still probably want to use this, and I say that because programming in a website, in a web environment, is not really very friendly. It's not a great place to do programming. So it's better to try to program in an actual editor and then copy your code over to the website so that you can convert it into the hex code. So we're not necessarily going to sit and program everything on the website. So in order to do that, in the idle, we're going to go up here to File, New File, and that's going to create a new file that we can then come in here and start to put our code in. And so as an example, when we created this new program over here on the Microbit website, there's a lot of code here. And if we copy this code, so if we come in here and copy this and then come back over here to idle and paste that code into idle, you can see all of the code is all still here. The difference is that Python doesn't know what a microbit is. And so at some point, we're going to need to copy this code. So we're going to need to come in here and copy all this. So as an example, we're going to change this guy to waiting 4 seconds before it starts to repeat. I'm going to explain what this code's doing here in just a second. But we're going to copy this code. So we're going to pretend this is our program, and then we're going to come back up here into this editor, highlight this, and paste in our code. And so this gives us the ability, and I think I hit a extra key there, but this gives us the ability to manage our code on our hard drive, be able to write code offline, and then come back in here and paste it in here in order to build the hex file. So let's talk a minute about this particular program and what is going on. So the first thing is, imagine that like we were discussing with operating systems, where you have a bunch of programmers that are writing all the hard code so that you can write a program that just takes care of the high level stuff, make this light turn on, make this light turn off, and you're not worried about how to make the light turn on and off. You just call a function and say turn yourself on. The same thing applies to programming languages. So one of the things that makes Python one of the most powerful programming languages in the world right now is the fact that there's so many developers working on different libraries. And you can think of a library as kind of an operating system of sorts that do all kinds of different things, and they allow us to go in and use those to make our program work. So instead of us having to worry about how to turn lights on and off and how to make a switch work, somebody has already gone in and made a function that deals with that particular thing. And so what we're doing on this very first line of code, well, the very first line of code is what's known as a comment. So you can see a pound sign sitting over here that tells Python this is not real code. This is my comment to denote what it is this thing's doing. But right here, the second line of code says to import the microbit controller code. So there's a big library of code that the microbit understands. And when we get into using our Keystone or our Key Studio adapter card, there's probably going to be additional libraries that we're going to need to bring in for it to work properly. And so it is basically a library of a bunch of functions that lets us do things related to, in this case, the microbit. Now the next line of code is a while loop. A while loop is a way to tell the program to just keep looping. And this thing says to loop as long as true. And the thing is because there's nothing telling it that true is not true, this thing's going to loop forever. So as long as the microbit has power, this thing is going to sit and loop and do whatever is in the block of code below it. Now, one of the things to understand about the Python and the way that the code is actually blocked is that we have, in most programming languages, you end up with a braces. And so you'll have a programming language like this, and then you'll have braces around it to show what the block of code is that's going to get executed. So in this particular case, we have a while loop that's looping, and then we're telling it to loop to execute the code that's inside of this block as long as while is true. Well, in this case, Python doesn't use braces. They actually have tabs, and it's probably the single most disgraceful thing that I can think of about Python, because it's really difficult, in my opinion, to tell what is a block of code and what is not a block of code, because you're having to look at something that has no visual representation, because you can't see space, you can't see air. So I can see that this is spaced over, but I don't, is it one tab or two tabs or three tabs? And you'll understand more what I'm talking about when you start programming in Python, but it's just something that we're going to have to get used to and deal with. But right now, everything that's tabbed over one space is all in a block, and it's all going to get executed inside of this while loop. So just think of all of this being related to this while loop. So you're not going to only execute this line of code, you're going to execute 3 lines. And then the next thing that we have is we've got a display.scroll. So this is a function. You'll notice that we've got our open parenthesis that we discussed in an earlier video. So we've got display.scroll, and then we're passing in text to say hello world, to tell it to display that particular text as long as while is true, which is going to be forever. So once it gets through displaying or scrolling hello world, the next thing it's going to do is call another function. It's in the display section of the code called show, and we're telling it to show an image of a heart. And so you'll notice you got your open and closing parentheses and what you're passing into the function. And then we got another function here called sleep, and we're telling it to sleep for 4,000. Well, if you know that there's 60 seconds in an hour, 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds in a minute, and there's 1,000 microseconds in a second. So 1,000 microseconds amounts to 1 second. So in this case, we're telling it to wait for 4,000 microseconds, which amounts to 4 seconds. And so this thing is basically going to display this. And if you look over here at the microbit, you'll notice over here on the back of the microbit, there's some LEDs on here and a couple buttons. And these are what the system's going to be using in this particular demo for how to make the hello world show up and what we're going to be doing. Now you'll also notice on here we've got some tabs on the bottom. This is where we can attach alligator clips to do different things. We got voltages and things that can go out. But and eventually what's going to happen is you'll notice that the microcontroller actually plugs into this other extension board that we're going to be using for other experiments. So for right now, we're only going to be using the microbit, and we're going to show you how to copy this code over to the microbit so that we can make it do something. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to come over here and we're going to get our USB cable that's connected to the computer, and we're going to plug it into the microcontroller or the microbit. And you'll notice when we do, we have a little yellow light on it, and it's basically telling it that it's got power and it's doing something in the background. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here to download. We're going to click on download. We're going to tell it to save the file, and then we're going to open up a window here, and we're going to take a look at what we've got. So if we come up here to downloads, you'll notice this microbit program 2.hex. This is the file that the microbit website created in order for us to copy it over to the microbit. You'll also notice down here that we have a microbit attachment. It looks like a hard drive or a USB thumb drive that got attached. So all we're going to do is we're going to click on our hex file here, and we're going to drag it down here and drop it on top of the microbit. And now take a look at the microbit. We've got a yellow light that is sitting here flashing, and what it's doing is it's letting us know that it is in the process of copying our program over to the microbit. Now when it goes solid again, it means that the program has been copied. And so now if we flip it over, we have a heart, which is the end of our message. Now it's going to print hello world, and then prints the heart, and it waits there for 4 seconds, and then it starts over again. So as long as the microbit has power, it's going to continue to execute this particular program and do whatever it is that we told it to do. Now we're going to be using this microbit to interface to our first project, which is going to be writing a speedometer. That's what we're going to try to do in the first experiment. We're going to write code in Python that is going to measure how many times a sensor gets triggered, and we're going to measure out, we're going to do the math and figure out exactly how far a wheel turns, or how far it moves across the ground in one revolution, one time around. And then we're going to write a program to figure out how fast that wheel is turning as we spin it on a bicycle. So that's going to be our first project, and we're going to be using the microbit along with the microbit website to build these programs and copy them over to this controller board.